Hello, and welcome back to another update on everything we know about the upcoming American Horror Story Season 13. There's lots of wild and crazy stuff to talk about today, including some major crossover elements from many different seasons, and of course, tons of new cast members and more information. But first, let's unpack all of the information that came out of the Disney Upfronts, which occurred on May 12th, 2026, and featured a very elaborate American Horror Story presentation. To represent the brand and this upcoming season, they had Angela Bassett, Sarah Paulson, Evan Peters, Emma Roberts, Gabri Sidibe, and Billy Lord, who will all star in the upcoming season. They all took the stage to present this big teaser that featured a lot of reused clips from seasons past, and also some brand new footage from the upcoming season, which has circulated online for about 2 weeks now, so I feel comfortable sharing some of these stills. First and foremost, we can breathe easy knowing that it appears that they've recreated the Robichaux set to some very grand extremes, including the iconic portrait room with its high ceilings, and it looks like the grand staircase. In fact, the first time I watched this, I was like, wait a second, is this even new footage? Because it looked so much like the original Robichaux set. So I definitely think they're doing a great job recreating Robichaux this time around, which is, as we've talked about before, something that should have happened in Apocalypse. We also get our first look at Billy Lord in the season. She is definitely playing Mallory, her character from Apocalypse, the once supreme. We also get this great look at Queenie, who looks amazing. Can't wait to see all of the new looks on the witches, and very much looking forward to seeing what Queenie will bring this season, hoping for an arc this time. The cast remained pretty tight-lipped on the red carpet, but they did share some general vibes and enthusiasm about the season.
Listen, I had some of the best fun ever playing Marie Laveau back in the day. What, about 10, 12 years ago? I mean, it was as close to theater as anything I'd done on film. So big was better. You know how they say, less is more? No, big was better and more.
For me, I really loved all the stunts and the magic and the special effects that we get to do on American Horror Story. So I was really excited to get back to that again. Yeah.
Can't wait for it. And you're reuniting with Emma and Ariana, right? In American Horror Story. Has it been fun seeing your old friends? Can we ask that?
Incredible seeing my old friends. I love this coven. It's a gorgeous coven of gorgeous people, and I'm so happy to be back, and I am not going to say anything else because it's scary. And
you all can't say a lot, can you?
No, we can't.
We can't.
And then we have to talk about this other shot that was revealed in the first look presented at the Disney Upfronts, which features the return of Evan Peters as James Patrick March, and behind him it looks to be his Devil's Night crew from American Horror Story Hotel, the Zodiac Killer, who of course also appeared in Cult, Jeffrey Dahmer, and then on the right, we have Richard Ramirez. Now, if you recall, back in Hotel, Richard Ramirez was played by a different actor than he was played by when Richard Ramirez returned in 1984. Of course, there are a few plot inconsistencies that make fans believe that the Richard Ramirez from 1984 is not the same Richard Ramirez from Hotel, so those two seasons must be in different universes type of thing. But the very interesting thing is here, we have Zach Villa playing Richard Ramirez, who portrayed him in 1984 and not in Hotel, where he shared these scenes with these other characters in this shot. So we're either dealing with some retconning of 1984 and Hotel in some way, or some weird Marvel-esque multiverse stuff, and a lot of the things that we will talk about has me leaning a little bit more on the Marvel side, which is a little concerning, but like I said in the last video, we have no say. We're just gonna have to enjoy the ride. But the last thing about this image that has me scratching my head is it doesn't appear that they are in the Hotel Cortez in this shot. It very much seems like they are in Robichaux's Academy. So either this is, Halloween and they've decided to do Devil's Night out on the town, traveling many miles to New Orleans, or the more likely scenario that this season has ghosts and demons behaving outside of the rules that we've known them to in American Horror Story. Of course, past seasons have set up the rules of the game are essentially, if you die in a building, you more or less will be trapped within that building, especially if that building or location has a lot of dark energy attracted to it, like the Murder House or Camp Redwood, since and the Hotel Cortez, those are like the most populated with ghosts, so it seems like while ghosts can move on in this universe, those truly dark places make it nearly impossible for ghosts to move on. And so once they are trapped at that location, they cannot travel except for on Halloween night. So it doesn't seem like we're playing by those rules anymore, and there better be a good reason for it, and I bet there is. Because last time we brought back all of these characters was the apocalypse, so there's gotta be some universe altering, threatening situation going on, bringing all these characters together. And a lot of us are thinking that it has to do with Satan and or the Antichrist empowering his allies in the spiritual realm, because I mean, at least with Richard Ramirez, we were shown him talking to Satan in 1984, so there could be a connection there with like all the villains from the past being tied to Satan. And then, you know, a big theory online right now is that Satan wants revenge on the witches for what they did in Apocalypse. So that could very much be the reason, and we could see these sometimes real-world villains be brought back to give these witches some trouble. I don't know. We will see. I am very much at a loss when it comes to what the plot of this season is going to be. The teaser also gave us new looks at Madison Montgomery and Cordelia Good, and on the stage at the Upfronts, they had this performance, like a dance performance, including imagery from previous marketing campaigns, including Cult and Murder House, so there were some clowns and rubber people. The teaser also had this additional visual incorporating the witches from Delicate. Potentially we might be dealing with some Delicate connections as well. So then at the presentation, they also had this very dramatic reveal of a new actor joining the cast of American Horror Story 13. I don't know if you guys saw when Robert Downey Jr. was unveiled as Dr. Doom a few years ago. They very much just copied that and did the same thing here, except it wasn't nearly as surprising or exciting, I guess, if it even was that for Robert Downey Jr., because the man takes off his mask, and I'm sorry, a lot of us didn't know who he was.
And at AHS, we don't just cast, we conjure. Rise and join this little coven. Please welcome our newest cast member, Paul Anthony Kelly. Woo!
I guess every night man is fresh blood, and 13 is my lucky number.
We've been expecting you, Paul.
Hulu is calling Love Story like the biggest hit on their platform or whatever, but who trusts these streaming services with their statistics? I haven't watched it yet. You guys who have watched it, let me know how this guy is. We have Paul Anthony Kelly joining the cast of season 13. You know, his first acting role was this year in Love Story, which is another Ryan Murphy production, originally called American Love Story and was technically a sister show to American Horror Story and American Crime Story, but now doesn't appear to be because it's not tied to America anymore. But anyway, I think we should have maybe done a big dramatic reveal for like an AHS legend that we didn't know was coming back. We could have done Lily Rabe, you know, if we could manage to get Frances Conroy out of retirement, or Dennis O'Hare. Why aren't we casting Dennis O'Hare? Adina Porter, I would love to see her back after she was done so dirty on Red Tide. I just don't understand why he deserved a bigger reveal than Angela Bassett, Gabri Sidibe. Like, those were all revealed, you know, through social media. But moving on, as we know, filming has commenced in New York City over the past month or so, and there's been a lot of pieces of information that have been coming out of the set as usual, and some confirmed stuff and some unconfirmed stuff that I'm about to break down for you. So let's just take it character by character, because there are a lot of returning characters from previous seasons that have been spotted on set, and unless they're playing some massive joke on the fans, will probably be featured in season 13 in some capacity. So of course, the confirmed returning characters that we've already known about from Coven and Apocalypse, we've got Cordelia Good, Queenie, Madison Montgomery, and then at the Disney Upfronts, we've also got confirmation that Mallory is coming back, alongside James Patrick March, who originated in Hotel, but also appeared in Apocalypse. Now, here are the people who have been spotted on set. We have Mina Suvari as Elizabeth Short. Elizabeth Short is the very real-life murder victim, also known as the Black Dahlia. She was incorporated in a few episodes of Murder House, as well as in one episode of Apocalypse. She was a victim of Charles Montgomery in the AHS universe, of course, and it's not my favorite when the show, messes with real life victims and serial killers, and it seems like we have a lot of that going on in this season already, so buckle up. Next, we have some surprising new characters that are going to be in season 13 from none other season than Freak Show. So, slightly less surprising, we have John Carroll Lynch returning as Twisty the Clown. He is one of the most iconic villains from AHS, one of the few to have a Halloween mask and things like that. And he was also brought back in Cult very memorably, so I'm very excited to see him back portraying Twisty. John Carroll Lynch, one of the most underrated actors in AHS. I love him in everything I've seen him in, and all of his AHS roles are really good, especially Mr. Jingles, Benjamin Richter in 1984. As much as I do love all these actors coming back as their iconic characters, all of these actors are also so talented. I would love for them to be brought back with new interesting characters as well, but we shall see. Then the other returning character from Freak Show that we have confirmation about right now is Matt Fraser returning as Paul, the Illustrated Seal. All of the quote-unquote freaks from Freak Show were such tragic and interesting characters, so it was really surprising to see Paul come back. Definitely just a pleasant surprise to see him as a part of the cast. I just have no clue why or how. So again, let's just buckle up and try to have a good time. Hope they're not messing up the whole franchise. Then, of course, returning from Hotel and 1984, Richard Ramirez, which we already talked about, alongside Jeffrey Dahmer and the Zodiac Killer. Another villain that was spotted on set comes from American Horror Story Cult, as a man with some long blue locks were seen on set, leaving fans thinking that season 13 could be the return of Kai Anderson, the primary antagonist from that season. An important note about the Kai Anderson actor is it wasn't Evan Peters that was spotted in the blue hair. It was a different actor. Very easily could just be a stand-in for Evan Peters, but alas, Evan Peters himself was not seen dressed as Kai Anderson. Then we also got a look at a Sarah Paulson character, and probably not the one you're expecting. Seemingly returning from season 10, we have Mamie Eisenhower from Death Valley. Yeah, this is one of the biggest inclusions that has me scratching my head, because why are we touching Death Valley? I mean, it does have big open ending, but like Red Tide and a couple other of the later seasons, it just doesn't seem like it can fit in the same universe as American Horror Story. So again, it just feels like we're bringing in different universes and weird multiverse Marvel stuff, which I don't think gels well with American Horror Story, the one time they did time travel. It's worth noting that a lot of these characters were seen on the same filming day, which was centered at a church, a big, beautiful, large, cathedral-esque church. So either this is one big scene with a lot of returning characters, or this will be a spot where characters return from frequently. Like, if you have this big grand church you need to film a bunch of scenes in, you're going to schedule them all on the same day so you don't have to rent it out for 5 separate days. So it very easily could be like several different scenes from different episodes being filmed on the same day. We may not see all those characters in the same scene together, or who knows, maybe they're all at church together. And then next, we have a different sector of characters that we believe to be returning in this season, but we haven't gotten that same concrete confirmation, like set photos or confirmation from the actors' representatives or the actors themselves. So of course, in my last video, we talked about how it seems like Jessica Lange's character in this season is Constance Langdon. We've yet to get any confirmation about that. That is what the current word is. There's nothing contrary to that yet. And since I filmed this section of the video, the big AHS news accounts on Twitter and Instagram, including AHS Zone and Horror Story News, who have both been really reliable with their information this season so far, they've been confirming that Jessica Lange will also be returning as Fiona Good in this season as well. It was also said that there were some rubber men spotted on location in New York. Did not see photographic evidence, so I'm putting that in this section, but I believe it. I think the rubber men will be back. Another returning character that has made the rounds on the Twitter update accounts, which have gotten a ton of things right this season. So the word on the street is Adelaide Langdon is returning in this season, which I hate. I don't want her story to be touched at all. I think, it's an open ending from season 1 that they just haven't touched in 15 years. Leave it alone. Why would we? Don't ruin it. Just don't ruin it. Jamie Brewer is definitely back, but another rumor is that she isn't playing Adelaide, but she is playing Nan. This would be better. I would much rather see Nan than Adelaide, but she very easily could be playing both of these characters. And then another rumored returning character is the Piggy Man, specifically from Roanoke, and another unconfirmed but highly speculated character to be returning in this season, according to the update accounts, is Winter Anderson from Colt. Lastly, we have all the accounts saying Leslie Grossman will be returning as Coco St. Pierre Vanderbilt, her character from Apocalypse, which, you know, we haven't seen photos of just yet, but I am putting money on it, considering we got Mallory back. So, yeah, that's the only reason they're slightly unconfirmed is because, you know, the ones in the confirmed section, we've got articles and or photos of, so it's hard to deny. So, with all of those massive returning characters out of the way, let's talk about the new cast members that have been announced that aren't playing old characters as far as we know. We have Joey Pelori, who you may know from Monster or The Beauty, so he's a Ryan Murphy hopper, I don't know what the word is. As we discussed, Paul Anthony Kelly from Love Story. And then we have model Alex Kosani in her first major acting role. It was also recently announced that Madison Petch has joined the cast of American Horror Story 13. You may know her from Riverdale or the recent Strangers trilogy. And in that same article that confirmed Twisty and Paul's return, they announced that actor Berto Colon from The Night Agent will also be playing a character called Joe the Doorman. He very well may be the doorman at this building that we've seen Joey Pelori filming at, called the Apollyon, I believe. So before I go, I want to sum up my preliminary thoughts on all these crossover connection things, my theories on what might be going on in this season. Of course, the most easy answer is Satan is unleashing villains from hell, potentially in response to a major event that has occurred on the AHS timeline, like the death of Michael Langdon, or potentially even the pill apocalypse at the end of Red Tide, the end of Death Valley, some major stuff was going down. And Delicate, of course, had a very powerful dark coven being taken down, so it could be any one of those things. In addition to that, I find it hard to believe that they're not going to be exploiting timeline inconsistencies like Richard Ramirez or all the different apocalyptic events that have happened recently, a la incursions in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with their multiverse saga, which didn't really go all too well, if you remember. So I don't know how well it's going to work here if that is what they're doing. It seems like the easiest answer as to why the wrong Ramirez is hanging out with James Patrick March. And lastly, one major yet vague thing we know about the plot of the season is that it has to do with the number 13 and the curse of 13. It was reported early on that the character Joey Pelori is playing has he keeps seeing the number 13 everywhere. And this was kind of reiterated by the teaser shown at the Disney Upfronts, which had mention of all these characters coming back because of the Curse of 13. So whatever the Curse of 13 has something to do with this story, at least in the beginning. So yeah, that's all I have for you in regards to the major returning characters that are appearing in American Horror Story 13. And speaking of that, I do believe that the title of the season will simply be American Horror Story 13 because of the whole Curse of 13 thing, as well as a kind of first full circle moment because, as you may know, the first season of American Horror Story was premiered without a subtitle. It was just known as American Horror Story. So the final season also being known as American Horror Story without a proper subtitle would kind of be cool, I think, in my opinion. Especially if it is the last season for a while, which, y'all, it is. This is definitely a final season situation. So yeah, let me know all of your thoughts and theories in the comments below. I'm definitely confused. So any insight you guys think you may have to the season would be helpful, and it's fun to theorize, and they're giving us a lot of weird stuff to theorize about. So yeah, sound off in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.